Hello. Today I'm going to talk to you about a topic that has been very popular between conservationists, farmers, and hunters alike. Missouri is considering the reintroduction of elk into the counties of Shannon, Carter, and Reynolds. Conservationists are going to try and contain the elk in about a 346 square mile radius that contains approximately 35 miles of blacktop. Elk haven't been native to Missouri since approximately 1865. Since then, much has changed. For example, our forests and landscape and the way we travel. Our forests are no longer the lush, green, promising forests they once were. They have been bulldozed down in order to build shopping centers, homes, and to change our land into farm use. Since our forests have been dozed down, we are now in what is considered our second growth, with less grass, more weeds, and more briars that both deer and elk do not like to eat. With this being said, elk also have no natural predator in the state of Missouri. This will allow for the elk to overpopulate. With an overpopulation of elk, a food shortage will occur. This will create no food for our deer, turkey, and other small wildlife. Once there's no food sources, these animals will now move on to our farmers' hayfields and crops, thus destroying them. When a farmer can no longer provide for his family, us taxpayers are going to have to compensate them for their losses due to these animals. I'm concerned that once the elk and deer are out of food sources, they will migrate to the northern part of Missouri like other deer have done previously. Northern Missouri offers much more farmlands, food, and water sources. This brings me to another point. We now travel by vehicle instead of horse and buggy. When a vehicle hits a deer, there is a significant amount of damage. However, when a vehicle hits an elk, it is much worse. The average damage from hitting an elk can range from $2,500 to $3,500. We, the taxpayers, are going to have to step in and pay for the damages caused by these elk. My final concern is the chronic wasting disease. This causes the animal to get lesions in their brain and die a long, horrifying, suffering death. The animal can no longer function properly and it cannot eat, so will either die of starvation or die of some animal that is lesser than it finally getting it down. Or maybe some hunter or farmer will see it and take mercy on it and put it out of its misery. The chronic wasting disease is not something that we want to play around with. We've never had it here in the state, so who's to say that this won't transfer to our horses, cattle, dogs, or cats? We have no idea of knowing. We have no idea of knowing the other damages from this. Will the animal turn mean? Will it attack others? Will it cause them to turn on humans? We have no idea of knowing. I feel that the introduction of elk into Missouri will be unbeneficial and uneconomical for both taxpayers and our land. They will cause more damage to our land than what taxpayers can afford, and they will also cause us not to be able to hunt them. Our hunting system for the elk is going to be on a lottery once they have populated enough for them to be hunted. Being in a lottery means that the hunters will have to put their name into a giant drawing that will cost thousands and thousands of dollars. Who's to say that we can afford this if we are having to pay for all the damages they have done to the land and to farmers' crops and vehicles? I do not see how this is fair for taxpayers to have to pay for all the damages when the conservationists decided to reintroduce the elk into the state. As you can see, that there are many other problems from this too. We do not know what all will come from this, but I think that Missourians need to step back and look at the potential harm and damage that will be caused by the elk that are reintroduced. We are going to have damages to our farms, our homes, our vehicles, and essentially to all our other animals. Do we want our other animals to be without food, to have to migrate and move? We are already having problems keeping our deer and turkey and other wildlife in this part of the state. Why add another factor into this that will cause these animals to have less than what they already have?